Well, normally it is only Jimmy who is allowed to dance here on
Dance with
NFL
me, Loss.
After
Dance with me.
brought to you by
Hold my hand and
PointsBet.
dance with me.
But officially, 14 teams are dancing, aren't they, Jimmy? Oh, wow, the electricity is flowing.
Whoa! Why are your hands so clammy?
I'm stressing about today's show. No, I just had a delightful chicken wrap for lunch. That may have contributed. All right,
Bit of
Jimmy,
mayo.
NFL Afters. Bit of mayo on some takes today. And we'll get to some of the ones that we've had sent in. But welcome in, everybody. I am Laurie Horesh, and I'm joined by one man with one name only.
Jimmy.
He is casting an eye over especially the NFC side of things, as his Philadelphia Eagles have I wouldn't say limped into the playoffs, but it was an ugly one. It was backups on backups against Commanders. But the Eagles go into the 3 seed. We have our seedings done. We have our matchups done. I'm going to try and go off the top of my head.
Good, I've got it in front of me, but you go.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Because any chance that I can have to embarrass myself right off the bat is one worth taking. All right. On the NFC side of things, your number 1 seed hails from the Seattle area.
Yep.
The Seahawks. The number 2 seed would be those Chicago Bears.
Correct.
Number 3 seed would be, as mentioned, your Philadelphia Eagles.
Go Birds.
Number 4 seed, the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Getting on in.
Nowhere.
The only team to win their division twice in NFL history with a losing record.
Correct. Points for you.
Number 5, and meeting them in week 1, looking for revenge after a big upset victory earlier this season, the Rams of Los Angeles, the Rams of the MCG. Who knows? Maybe a Super Bowl champion team will be coming to Melbourne in 2026. This is the year we're in, by the way. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Good to be back,
That's
guys.
5 seeds. The 6th seed, that's going to be the Bay Area. That will be the San Francisco 49ers.
Going to visit my birds.
Yes, and talking about, kind of backing into the playoffs, limping into the playoffs, the Green Bay Packers in the 7th slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the AFC side of things, congratulations to the mighty fighting Denver Broncos. The Orange Crush has taken the number 1 seed out. Number 2, but perhaps number 1 in the MVP voting, we will see Drake May and the New England Patriots. Number 3, no one believes in us. No one knows where we are on the map. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence has got a grill.
Does.
Yeah.
He does. I'm looking forward to getting to know more about Trevor Lawrence's personality in the playoffs, because you make the playoffs to get all the vignettes. Yeah. And if they even win a game, we get multiple appearances from the Jaguars. It's been a couple of seasons since that 27-0 deficit at halftime was overturned by Trevor Lawrence and his friends. But if a little more window into behind the grill.
I want to...
Trevor Lawrence.
You've heard of Pimp My Ride. What? Welcome to Behind the Grill with Exhibit.
We think we need more shows hosted.
Or it's Little John. No, it's Little John. What? Okay. Grills.
What's Paul Wall have to do to get a hosting job?
No, that's true. If we're talking grills, it's Paul Wall. Sorry,
talking
Paul.
Grills,
you can have the gig.
I can tell producer Hatsy in Melbourne has already muted everything. he's just waiting to see the recording button go off. All right, that got us to how many seeds?
You're at 3,
the
4.
4th seed. That would be from the AFC South, and that will be the
game we just watched. The game we just watched, which was insane.
Which was absolutely insane. The Pittsburgh Steelers emerged victorious.
10-7.
26-24 after a missed point after attempt left the door open for the Baltimore Ravens. They drove downfield. Isaiah Likely with
a huge,
really rising above the pack.
Just
which Baltimore Ravens tight end would play full forward in 1990s AFL? That's the real question.
Isaiah Likely.
Oh, yeah, they're calling him Plugger Likely.
Yeah, are they?
St Kilda are calling about him now.
Yeah.
There's a shout out for our Melbourne fans, because normally it's rugby league comparisons. But hey, it's a new year. It's a new
We can do other sports.
It's a new playoffs. Yeah. There's only 2, apparently. Well, you got Union. Sorry, producer Brucey.
Yeah. Union, the game they play in heaven, because it's dead.
Okay, back to National Football League. So, yes. So the door was open.
Oh, sorry.
Lamar Jackson drove the ball downfield. Isaiah Likely, the huge catch. It's there.
Even before that, the one to Zay Flowers when it was open, like it was back and forth, and
it was back and or forth. Yeah. That was the game.
We had the slip as well.
Oh, Chittibaya was You feel bad for the guy, because not a good time for the turf and your studs to give out.
But the Steelers win. The Steelers didn't win.
The Baltimore Ravens lost because the kick. I mean, the point after attempt from Boswell was a nasty slice.
Yeah.
The block fade that we got from the Ravens was absolutely that thing wasn't close.
No,
that thing was closer to hitting us here in Moore Park in Sydney. That's how Jimmy's throwing his pens at this point.
I need my ball.
Your emotional support ball. Yeah, needed.
I'm good, guys.
Tanner McKean acquired that, did he? So look, it's the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers career continuing. because this may be the last hurrah for him. This may be the last run. They're into the postseason. They're the 4 seed. They'll play the Houston Texans in that nasty defense.
Yeah, your reward, Aaron, is to come up against arguably the best defense in the NFL. So congratulations.
And a team that's scoring big man touchdowns all of a sudden. Beware of a team scoring big man touchdowns. The 6th seed in the AFC. This is where my brain is actually starting
the Bills?
Yes, the Buffalo
playing
Bills.
the Jaguares.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's a fun game.
That's a good
I'm
one.
looking forward to that.
And then sneaking in the final spot in the AFC.
The Chargers
is Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I was there for a bit. I was in a Lawrence Allen spin cycle there, but the Chargers in a no contest game against the Denver Broncos. They didn't throw out their starters in this one. It was a lot of Trey Lance that we saw. So that's the lineup. That's what we got in there. But that
we'll be back next week covering these games.
We will. We will certainly be back for the postseason and towards San Francisco and the Super Bowl. But look, that last one to finish it off. I mean, are you surprised that we got something dramatic involving Aaron Rodgers in Week 18 against a hated division rival, and seemingly with the game slipping away? And clearly
there was bad
football gods weren't done with him.
It was just everything, like the missed kicks, bad defensive reads.
The coverage busts were wild.
Yeah.
Even at the end there, saying that sentence, but it was.
I love these coverage busts. They're some of the greatest busts I've seen. It blew my mind. But not in like a great way. Like I was like kind of like, what am I watching?
It was fun, but not good.
No, because like now they're going to get bounced by the Texans. I'm sure there's some Steelers fans who disagree with me.
They're in my mentions usually because they found me. And they like to let me know when the Steelers do win. But look, credit.
Get Mike Tomlin in a job.
The Mike Tomlin might have hit the peak of fans yelling for him to be fired and NFL insiders and literati saying, "Oh, he'll get a job instantly. He'll get 6 jobs straight out," which would be interesting. I'd like to see Mike Tomlin try and coach 6 teams at once because he's done so much with the Steelers, but it's important to keep pushing yourself. We all set New Year's resolutions, and perhaps for Tomlin, it is to coach multiple teams at the same time.
Maybe next week for the playoffs, the non-playoff teams, we should set some New Year's resolutions for the non-playoff teams.
Yeah, I need some time to mull on some of the
Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Just some of the depths that we saw from some of the teams missing out.
I was chatting to my partner Charlotte about this. I was trying to explain, the playoffs. No, I was trying to explain the playoffs.
An 82-year-old.
Because she goes, who do you think's going to be the Super Bowl? She's like, could you and Laurie's team play each other? And I was like,
no, we couldn't. For a number of reasons.
Yeah.
The way the league's set up for one, and the Cowboys. I mean, even if they couldn't even find each other in the NFC title game at this point.
No.
But that is where we are set up. But before we go any further,
I want to bring up something.
You want to bring up something?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it the other day, and I thought it was great. A shout, Myles Garrett, MVP.
Yes.
And he's now got the sack record. Congratulations. And look, I want to do something to celebrate that, but just quickly, you had some stats on the. Do you have them in front of you? The sack record. Could you share them with
in terms of
blowing up on the Twitters or the X's?
Those that would like to question certain things, those that want to put an asterisk on the record. And this is
17 games.
It was 17 games. And this is why we desperately wanted him to do it last week. Because
then people couldn't say it was 17
games. Because people couldn't, and the haters were out, right? Yeah. Snaps, pass rush snaps required for each of these sack records. Yeah. TJ Watt, 616 pass rush snaps. Michael Strahan, 567. Yeah. Myles Garrett, 437. So from an efficiency and explosion standpoint, and those are from at WFNY Scott, who provided those. He also followed up with a fascinating further series of nuggets from one Mr. Aaron Schatz, who posted a table and literally has the passes per sack. So how many pass attempts per sack for each of the great seasons that we've seen. Reggie White, who had 21 sacks in a strike-shortened 1987 season that was 12 games long. Yeah. He was 24.8 passes per sack. That was second. Myles Garrett is first at 20.8. And those who stand on the TJ Watt bandwagon, 27.5. So just the efficiency, the explosion. We're talking about opportunity. We're also talking about a guy that did it. I had someone jump in my comments like, "Oh, mate, it's not that impressive because, think about his offense was so bad. The defense was out there all the time." One, no, they actually had a roughly 30-30 time of possession split in general. Yep. So one, that's not true. But two, you get sacks. The most advantageous spot for a pass rusher to rack up sacks is playing with a lead. Yep. If you didn't watch the Cleveland Browns in the 2025-2026 season, playing with a lead was not exactly on their business card. This was a team that was struggling on offense, never in pin your ears and get after the passer situation. Teams like your Philadelphia Eagles, when they put up 70-odd sacks in a season, that was the offense was rolling. They were setting the tone, and it's like, right, let's let Sweat and Hassan Reddick and the guys just tee off. That's that recipe. This was not it. What he's done playing on that team in that situation, and I think that's something that Strahan had on the studio show, on the Fox studio show. He had a joke like, he's got the 17-game record, I've got the 16-game record. But he actually took time after, a little giggle, and we get it. Your ego's going to feel a certain way when your records are up there, but he went ahead
even though
afterwards.
You fell on Brett Favre.
And he said, like, how about how this guy has done it on that team and the game scripts that they're playing with. So he took time to point that out. And look, for anyone out there that is saying on this sack that, Joe Burrow went down a little lightly. Yeah. Joe Burrow, they threw multiple blockers at Myles Garrett on what felt like 90% of snaps in that game. He got a one-on-one on the end. His get-off time was 0.17 seconds.
Yeah,
that was the next-gen stats provided that.
And on average, it's 0.7.
It's insane how quick he got off the line. Yeah. He beat his man. Burrow's trying to escape going forward. Shelby Harris, to his credit, also got pressure from the middle. There was nowhere, and he just crumpled right under there. If you think that compares in any way to the sack that Michael Strahan got off Brett Favre, where they ran a naked bootleg with Brett Favre with no protection right into a standing Michael Strahan, who looked like he didn't just expect that play coming, that he was sitting there waiting with already pre-poured sparkling water. He went for sparkling, not tap. Yeah.
I like bubbles. I'm a bubbles
guy.
guy.
He wanted bubbles. He was waiting
I want my
there.
water to be fun.
That was a crumple. This was just a phenomenal pass rush. So credit to Myles Garrett. And you've got something for us, Jimmy.
Yeah, also, it's bubbles, tap, and then still. Like, why are we getting still? Like, you're paying for still.
If you're paying for cold still.
Yeah, if you want bubbles, get bubbles. But if you just want water, get it out of the tap. Yeah. Don't go for still. Yeah. Look, to celebrate, and I did say this the other day. I was like, Myles Garrett's one of those number one picks that you get and you don't regret it, right? That is a generational talent.
As the tattoo says, no regrets.
No regrets. Laurie has it. Unfortunately, doesn't like to show it. That's why he has a T-shirt under the collar. But I did get me thinking, because I did have a look back at the 2017 draft.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is we're going to do a redraft of 2017.
Mm.
Because as much as I don't think the Browns, they don't regret getting Myles Garrett, a generational talent. There's very few like him. There was another very famous player in that draft.
There were a couple.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're only going to do the top 10 picks. We're going to do a redraft here. Laurie and I are going to take turns, pick for pick.
Okay.
I will give you the first pick for the Cleveland Browns.
We're taking Patrick Mahomes. Look, I love Myles Garrett. He's one of the best football players I've ever seen. He might be the best football player in the game right now. A physical marvel, but also just like the work ethic and just the game study, the film study that clearly goes into it, the technical level of his play that matches he's amazing. But no, I'm taking the best quarterback that I've seen play football, Patrick Mahomes, with the first overall pick.
Yeah, and look, that goes to Cleveland Browns, who've had just a terrible time at quarterback.
Yeah.
And now they get Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
Which I don't know if they're Browns fans that listen to this are happy or upset or angry. It's like, why are you telling us?
Second overall pick, who are you taking?
Chicago Bears took a quarterback.
Yes.
Mitch Trubisky, who had a day out today.
I tell you what, I mean, not rough day if you think that putting up 5 touchdowns against the Jets stamps your MVP claim, because Trubisky went out and put up a 4-for.
Yeah.
With no interceptions, no sacks taken, 350 odd yards.
Maybe you should have taken him first.
Yes.
But I'm gonna, I've got to take. I was obviously, I'm taking the great man. Myles Garrett now goes second.
Okay.
They took a quarterback there, but I don't think you can go past him.
I believe in the 2017 NFL draft, the third pick belonged to the
San Francisco
49ers, who at the time took a great man in Solomon Thomas. I don't think his production has met that level of that tier of picks.
Some of the other players in this draft.
He's a good rotational defensive lineman and a phenomenal leader in the locker room, and an amazing person who does incredible stuff off the field, particularly in the area of mental health awareness and support. So shout out to him for that. But if we are looking at the San Francisco 49ers, I actually have them taking a player that they did wind up with.
Okay.
Didn't take him on the day. He went to a different team in the NFC, different division. I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Yeah.
With my third overall pick. I have him third on the board
as
the next best player. Yeah, I know positional value is going to look there, but this is someone who is pressing up this year, against possibly 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards.
Do it, yeah.
And
doing it all.
What you're talking about, I know positional value, but I think Christian McCaffrey has shown exactly what type of value he can provide at that spot.
Yeah.
And look, he lands at the place he was destined to play just, half a decade earlier.
Yeah. Look, I got 4th pick. Who I'm going to take?
Yep.
You've taken. See, I had Christian McCaffrey later. No, it's fine.
Oh, did you? You're just a running back hater. You want to trade Saquon and everything.
Yeah, get rid of him. What are they doing?
Yeah.
I think I have to take him. I mean, TJ Watt.
Oh, yeah. You love effort, guys.
Yeah.
Is it that his hustle so good, or do you find him a gym rat? What is it?
Just all those things. I mean, he's the other guy with the sack record. Well, that's broken. He has the 16 tied. What is it?
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think his production has been great. He ended up going, was it pick 30? Still went in the first round.
Yes, because the Dallas Cowboys had needed that position, and they opted for Taco Charlton instead.
That's right.
Couldn't stand the pick at the time, and it has aged as such.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with TJ Watt. He can go to who did they pick at the time? Oh, they took a running back.
So clearly you've got a player sitting higher on your board than this is the 4 I expected. That's how I have them.
You have
4, so this is going short for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my next pick. I have ignored, unlike the current day Cleveland Browns, who I picked first overall, but I've ignored defense entirely in the way I'm going. The 5th overall
it's
pick.
It's an offensive league. You got to put numbers up, guys.
The 5th overall pick for this 2017 draft was to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
They took Corey Davis way back when.
Yeah.
Who didn't pan out for that level of wide receiver. Was not the wide receiver one answer, but I am going to get them an apex passing game weapon. But he doesn't play at the wide receiver position.
Okay.
He plays the tight end.
You're taking George Kittle
out of Tight End University, a.k.a. the University of Iowa.
What about when he went in the 5th round?
Yes, he did. He's a phenomenal blocker. And that was and tested and had really good athletic traits. But his production wasn't out of sight in college. And it was one of these picks where you had to have faith in the football beyond what the college offense featured. And man, I mean, Kittle's going to go down as one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Well, maybe, next New York Jets.
Who took Jamal Adams out of your favorite university?
LSU. Yeah. F them Tigers. Who am I going to take? Do I take a defensive player? Do I take a Marlon Humphrey from Bama, Roll Tide?
He's in my top 10. I'm not going to tell you where.
I got him there. I'm going to go. I'm inspired by your choice of offense.
Yes.
And I'm going to take a player, a wide receiver. They went in round 3.
I think
pick 69.
Yep.
They're taking Cooper Kupp.
Interesting.
A former MVP of a Super Bowl.
Yes. Triple Crown winner.
Yeah. I think they need
also only had 2 1,000-yard seasons in his career, which is such a weird one. I had him a little higher on my list, and I ended up bumping him down
just because of that over his whole.
Yeah.
That when he was at his
it was
best,
amazing, but it wasn't a long apex at the top.
It was very short
compared to some of the other great receivers we've seen come into the league. I'm going for a defensive player now. My first defensive player. This would be my 4th pick. Pick number 7.
So you've got him. You have him at 4.
No, I have him at 6. I have him at 6.
Okay.
Defensive player. I loved him, and he'd be amazing on the Chargers. I think about someone I'd love to pair with him who's on the current day Chargers.
Yeah.
Loved him coming out. Thought the knocks on him were absolutely ridiculous because of size. But a modern player for the modern game. Give me Buda Baker.
Oh yeah,
great.
Just
been sensational.
Yeah.
And such a fascinating, versatile. Now veteran, but has been explosive and on the ball since he entered the league. Loved him coming out of college, and thrilled to get him at this point.
All right, Carolina Panthers, who took Christian McCaffrey.
Yes,
you've taken him. He's off the board. Who do I want here? No, I'm going to do what I said before. Marlon Humphrey. I think.
Yeah. He was. I was tossing up in the top 10 out of cornerbacks. It was him or Marshawn Lattimore, and I've just again I think
I got Lattimore Humphrey, there as well. Ohio State boy.
Lattimore's career's kind of trended in a certain direction over the past couple of years. Humphreys had some inconsistency, but he has bounced back with some really strong seasons. All right, I've got 2 numbers that are really hard to split. I'm going to go offense once more here with my last pick. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock, and they need defense. Defense. That's what they've been crowing for. So that's why I'm drafting a running back for the top 10. I love this man. He doesn't get the flowers he deserves in this stage of his career because of where he played and the offenses he's been. It is Alvin Kamara. God, I was going to take him next. No, I love Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, good pick.
So great to see. I had him 7 overall on the board. Happy to get him at 9.
Yep.
And I'm feeling strong.
He went round 3 as well.
Yeah.
I think, severely underrated. I think that's because he's played.
Did he have a cup of coffee with a certain college?
With us.
Yes.
With Bama. Yeah.
Before going on to greener pastures at the University of Tennessee.
I think, Tennessee. Yeah, correct. He's at Tennessee.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it, folks? Draft season is coming.
All right, who am I? I'm just going to put that down here so I have them all. You took Alvin. All right, I'm at 10.
Yep.
So obviously, I have to go into the 5th round with the 153rd pick and pick Jake Elliott.
No, I'm kidding. God. Tell me you're kidding.
Jake the Snake. No.
Oh, God. Go on.
Ooh. I mean, there's some great names here. I mean, we talked.
9 of my top 10 are off the board. I have one sitting there that isn't.
I've got Chris Godwin there.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
I think's been all right.
Yeah.
I'm not picking any of these, but we said Lattimore as well. But I'm going to pick for the Kansas City Chiefs, Dion Dawkins.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, they needed some offensive line stability.
Yeah,
Dawkins was a consideration. He just missed out for me. The player that I still had on the board for my top 10 that didn't get picked, had him at 8. Matt Milano. All-pro linebacker, Buffalo Bills. Has come back this season off some troubling like leg injuries, knee injuries, and great to see him back on the field. But Milano's been phenomenal. He's had seasons where he's in Defensive Player of the Year consideration. So it was a good draft. It was an enjoyable draft of 2017, but it was full of pitfalls. It was great. Yeah. There were some serious hazards to avoid, clearly. At the quarterback position and others. But yeah, it's Leonard Fournette went 4th overall.
I know.
Big Leonard.
And he played for LSU, but there were big hopes on him.
Well, you'd come off Zeke and then Saquon. Yeah. And this was the next one in this era.
He was going to be this. He won a Super Bowl with
Here's the thing about
Tampa, didn't he?
Here's the thing about Zeke. Zeke got put in behind the Great Wall line, the second Great Wall of Dallas. Just a phenomenal offensive line. They thought it was for Romo. It was really for Dak in the end. But put in a position to succeed. Saquon, not so much with the Giants, but then obviously found that position. Yeah. Leonard Fournette, that Jaguars team and what they were set up for, not exactly the most efficient use of a 4th overall pick on a run back.
Well, they got TJ Watt now instead. So to recap, so the Browns took Mahomes at 1. Chicago Bears got Myles Garrett.
Yep.
I think they're happy
Monster
as well.
Midway.
49ers end up with Christian McCaffrey anyway. I think they're happy. Jaguares get TJ Watt. Yep. Titans get George Kittle. The Jets get Cooper Kupp, and that few years is good. Chargers get Budda Baker. Carolina Panthers, Marlon Humphrey. Bengals, Alvin Kamara, and Kansas City Chiefs get Dion Dawkins.
I like it.
It's a good. It's
a nice little trip down memory road. Yeah. That was the 2017 redraft in honor of our new single-season sack champion of the world, Myles Garrett. Huge congratulations all the way from Moorpark Studios, Disney Studios.
With the cricket on next door.
With a sunny, jubilant crowd out there. All right.
Great SC. Next up,
Sneaky Snake. I've got a Sneaky Snake take here. I was watching today, and week 18, by the way, underratedly fun week. The group chat was electric.
A lot of fun this morning.
Because it's such an even season where we didn't really know who we could believe in, it's been hard to cross off a lot of teams. There's been a lot of teams in contention. So you're watching every single team with attention and detail, and because you want to talk about them because they're relevant. We didn't get to that point, a month, 5 weeks out from the end of the season, we can literally cross off 10 teams. That didn't happen. But this week we obviously could. There are a lot of games with the backups in. You could take your eyes off certain things. You could really focus on the little things and have a lot of fun. And one of the things I was looking at is just, for certain teams out there that are struggling for an identity, that are struggling in this day and age to separate themselves from the pack. I think about the Tennessee Titans. I think about, honestly, this version of the Miami Dolphins.
Cardinals.
I think about the Cardinals. I think about a team that's got a little bit stale. Well, Cowboys have a lot of problems. A team that's got a bit stale, and we'll see if there's any coaching changes and missed out on the NFC South title. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have something before you get to off-season changes, front office changes, head coach, coaching staff changes, players, pro personnel, the draft, all that. There's a change you can make now today to really light the spark and set the tone. Make your throwback unis permanent. This is what you need. A Tennessee Titans team that couldn't have less of a tangible impact and identity in this league and looks like a Madden creator team. You go back and you grab those Houston Oiler pastels, that
baby blue. Oh,
just that gorgeous color with the white cream and the little red trim that featured. Absolutely sensational.
I mean, the Bucks do the one. What's it? It's the light orangey. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
and the old logo,
the beautiful sherbet
color. He's got this.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
The saucy pirate. That beautiful sherbet color.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
It's vibrant. It looks
is
good. It looks good on the field, like on the green grass.
It makes me feel something about Tampa because I'm honest. Tampa Bay as a city doesn't pull a lot of heartstrings for me as some random Australian who's never been there. But you don't look at it. I see Green Bay and I see Lambeau and I see their colors and I feel something.
Yeah.
The Kelly green that you guys rock.
Oh, I love it.
It's a phenomenal jersey. What the Seahawks have done, bringing their throwbacks. That's the biggest gap from that grey bluey operation up to what they get with that throwback colors, that strong blue, that strong green. I think about Pittsburgh. No, you don't get to do them because congratulations on getting back to the playoffs. But I mean, that's your throwback uniforms. There should be university about how bad your throwbacks are. The Broncos with the orange crush. I look at a team like the Miami Dolphins, and their colors haven't changed drastically from the throwbacks, but they're so much less punchier. They have this softer.
Yeah, they kind of like they dulled everything.
I want 1980s Miami Vice color, Technicolor. If we're rocking
Dan
orange
Marino on Ace Ventura,
if we're doing teals and oranges and bright whites, let it light up. I want that to feel like it's a neon sign on the strip there in Miami. Yeah, telling me that Kahlua-based drinks are $3 for $3 for the next 30 minutes. That's the vibe I
want that. Bring them back. They're literally the best thing.
So that is the Cardinals as well.
I mean, even like the logos as well. Like, I mean, the old Philadelphia logo is so much better than the new bird. And then we went the dark green and stuff, and I'm like, the Kelly green's so good. And you watch these jerseys fly off the shelves and teams bring them back. Like, I just think more of them need to have them permanently. Go back. It's not you're changing again. You're going back to something that people love.
The Arizona Cardinals. I mean,
that older Arizona Cardinal one.
So it looks like a college university, like a college uni. That shot of Larry Fitzgerald rocking the big 1-1. Clean white. It's like something you'd expect
with a really
to see.
crisp red.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something you would expect, your Tide or Stanford to roll out with, or one of those really punchy, beautiful uniforms. So my sneaky snake takeaways for those teams that have faded into the abyss this season. You're not playing postseason football. People are wondering what you're really about, who you're really about, who sets the tone there. You want to talk about tone? Let's talk about color. Let's talk about those throwback unis becoming permanent, because the NFL is a cycle. What's old becomes new again. 90s nostalgia is very, very popular amongst 30-something-year-olds that are struggling with growing up.
Yeah, you had these colors, you had these things.
Yeah. So please bring them back. That's the sneaky snake take of the week.
All right. I've been doing this for a few weeks now. We've done it sort of back and forth, and I love this. And I've got who do you love?
Yep.
You got to pick a quarterback.
Okay.
I give you the stats. You tell me who it is. All right. So the first quarterback.
Yes.
14-3 record. They both have the same record.
In this season.
Well, I can't say when these seasons are.
Is one of them in this season?
One of them's in this season.
Okay.
One of them's this season.
Yep.
14-3 record. First quarterback. 4,319 passing yards.
Yes.
35 passing touchdowns.
Yes.
12 interceptions.
Yep.
102.5 rating.
Yep.
Second quarterback, again, 14-3 record, 4,048 passing yards, about the same, 25 passing touchdowns, so 10 less, 14 interceptions, couple more interceptions, 99.1 rating. What quarterback do you want? Who do you love?
So I'm going to take quarterback 1, and that is because I think I'm going to make myself a caricature of this.
Yeah.
I believe quarterback number 1 is the Peacock Sam Darnold.
It's the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold.
Oh, and quarterback 2.
And quarterback 2 is Seahawks, Sam Darnold.
This is my happy place.
So just Sam Darnold or Sam Darnold.
I mean, it's the opposite of Sophie's choice.
It's just I can't lose.
Everyone's a winner, baby. We started the season singing and saying
it's been a fun day.
So
yeah, I mean, look, we can chat about it. Seahawks 13, 49ers 3. I mean,
probably give the defense a little credit. The 49ers defense and offense have been an absolute buzzsaw. They Kittle out there. Pearsall wasn't. Hopefully he's healthy for the postseason. You probably don't feel that. No. Objectively, you hope for health.
I would rather beat a team at full strength. That's the truth.
Look.
You can't zoom in. We don't.
Who's that guy on Instagram who tells me, he's like, come here, man.
The guy with the glasses.
Come here. That's a lie. That is a lie. Jimmy wants to get through get through week 1 of the postseason.
Everyone.
No, that's not true.
We welcome healthy competition.
Credit Ryan Clark, who was on a pregame show. I think yesterday I was listening to it. And he was talking about players being up, players being down, who's healthy, who's not. And he's like, people always say, I want to beat a team at their best. No, not a chance. I want to win. Whoever you line up against me, I want to beat them and I want to win. That's what matters the most. Yes.
We're talking about,
49ers offense looked really good coming into this, and the Seahawks defense said, no, I don't think so. Yeah. 13-3, just to shut down.
49ers were throwing up numbers week on week.
Yeah.
And then just got smacked.
Look, Darnold didn't put up huge numbers, but he was clean.
Yeah.
They made enough passes. They protected the football enough. And look, that's something that, one, in the postseason in general, it gets frostier, it gets colder, you against better teams, the games can get constricted, and you do need to play, you need to play sound fundamental football, and you can lean on a defense if you've got that type of talent, which the Seahawks do. Now throw in the fact that they are the 1 seed. They have a bye, and they play in that condition, in that setting, in Seattle, with the wind, with the weather, with the crowd noise. That's something you can do. I'm not going to say it's like a Trent Dilfer, Baltimore Ravens 2000 kind of thing, but there's going to be game scripts where they can turn to Sam and say, hey, Sam, you got the talent. Use that talent to do enough.
Yeah.
Don't press. Don't put the ball in harm's way. We can carry this thing, especially if we get Walker, K-Dub 3, and Zach Charbonnet both going, the buttery Sharbs getting a big day, big breakaway touchdowns. If they can set that up, this is something they can turn to, and they can say, Sam, give us this type of performance.
Well, I think I want to show those numbers as well because, I mean, remember last season they were rolling the Vikings and they got bounced back-to-back games straight out, right? But again, they had the same record, same amount of passing yards. The big difference there was 10 more touchdowns he had with Minnesota.
Yep.
I think part of that was due to, look, Minnesota's got a good defense, but this Seattle thing is becoming quite scary.
Yeah, Seattle's defense is complete. It's dominant.
Yes.
It's an excellence of execution.
And I think
that Minnesota defense, it's the Flores one. It's a little wild and spicy.
And I think showing that he had 10 less passing touchdowns because I don't think he needed to.
No.
And I don't think, to your point, going into this, he doesn't need to. He needs to do the basics really well. The defense turns up. Again, the game's 13-3, and everyone was on the 49ers as they were throwing up all these points. And suddenly, bam, smacked in the face. This
is something where that number 0 in the turnover column is going to be possibly the most important number for the Seahawks as they go into the postseason. The turnovers had picked up recently for Sam Darnold. It wasn't just there. I believe he's got a half a dozen fumbles on the season as well. Because I think he tipped over the 20 turnover rate or turnover number in general. So, it's a different team that he's at the helm of. But they're also hitting it. They were backing into the playoffs this time last year, that Minnesota Vikings team. The Seahawks is coming off a very imposing performance to go into January.
Now, look, interesting award today because there were a lot of backups and other quarterbacks. It is the 9 award for worst quarterback of the week. Quick question before you give this week's one. Are we doing it over the postseason as well? Does the 9 continue? Or is it a regular season award?
I don't want to force it. I think if someone earns it, because if we've got some really fun quarterback matchups. Then we also have Stafford versus Bryce Young. I love me, Bryce, but Stafford's your MVP in all likelihood. Yes,
if it's not Myles Garrett. But all right, well, let's just see next week. But for now, who's your 9 award for this week?
This one goes to Kenny Pickett. Because in a week of backups, Joe Milton's out there turning the ball over. The cavalry that were rolling out at quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. We got a lot of Trey Lance action, all sorts of backup features throughout this week. But Kenny Pickett 1 for 4 for 1 interception, 3 yards, and a 0 passer rating. Benched early. Early hook came out. We got Aiden O'Connell to finish that one off. The Raiders beating the Chiefs, which would have cost them the first overall pick in the draft if the Giants hadn't gone and rolled past the Dallas Cowboys backups, who they started presenting in the second half. The juggernaut for week 17 and 18, that is the New York Giants, going 2-0, customary for them. In recent seasons, they have bombed their way out of really top-end picks to fall 3-4. This time down to the fifth spot from potentially the first spot with how they performed in the final 2 weeks. And it just, whether you think you've got the guy in Jackson Dart or not, me, I'm less convinced. I understand other people might be more. He was playing in far from perfect circumstances this week. Lost his running mate in Cam Scatterboom, not a talent-rich team. The head coach isn't there for 2026, but that's the point. You're not exactly building a winning culture that's going to sustain over a regime. They're going to bring in changes. And the capital that you lose, you sit there, you think Dart's your guy, okay. You sit there with that first overall pick, you essentially auction that off to QB needier teams below you. You get the haul, you get the picks, and you build up because you need that talent. And the fact that this team cannot repeatedly take advantage of this spot that they have well and truly earned by not being a good football operation and put themselves in position, it is baffling. And I think to Giants fans who are really honest with themselves, they've got to read it as well. And for those that are saying, oh, well, we're not quarterback needy, or you're overrating Mendoza, you're overrating this guy, I'd just like to point out that at this point of the draft process, Patrick Mahomes was no lock to be a round 1 quarterback. At this point of the draft process, for better or worse, Johnny Manziel was no lock to be a round 1 quarterback. At this point of the draft process, for someone who was very close to you, Jimmy, Carson Wentz was no lock to be a round 1 quarterback, let alone a top 2 pick in the draft. Things change, and giving yourself options and flexibility is how you build out those assets, which they needed.
Yeah, I think like it's circumstances as well, right? Because to your point, I'm like, they don't have their head coach. They're not trying to, build something. I mean, their number 1 wide receiver, Blink Neighbors, isn't there. Then arguably, I know you love him, Cam Scarborough, their number 1 running back isn't there. I don't know, but I even to your point, like, I mean, we did the redraft earlier, right? You can get value later on. You can get lucky. Yeah. So there is the argument to be like, well, we're just trying to fight and whatever. But it's like, no, because there are people that want Mendoza, right? And I think the Raiders are one of them. And if you jump above them, they can trade you. Look at that lopsided trade between, it was like Panthers and Chicago for Bryce Young. Remember, they got like a whole stack of picks. Like, you could be in that position. Yes. So I think it's silly, again, for them just to be like, all right, we're going to win these couple of games when it may cost them, their future or being more competitive.
With some of the blue chip talent that's available and what they could have stacked up, it leaves a lot. So that was nice to turn the 9 award into a rant about the Giants and their ridiculous operation. But that is our.
And we're not biased.
No. We've got nothing
but Cowboy fans here. They're great.
And what a way to leave the intro for the show into our first segment, Jimmy, and that is the Maccas Hot Mic, brought to you by our dear friends at McDonald's. This is a personal request that has come in your way, Jimmy. This is one that it's been a running gag. Yeah. It's been a running gag through the season as I go for a little scroll. But
I've said it. I've got 12 fantasy teams.
You got 12 fantasy teams. And that's resonated with certain people out there, certain of our friends. In particular, this one, Connor from the UK, who, unlike the cliche of nobody cares about your fantasy team, he says au contraire, my friend.
Hello, chaps. Happy New Year. Any chance we can get an update on Jimmy's 12 fantasy teams, please?
Because I think like no one cares when you got 1. When I say I've got 12, people are like,
you kind of like
you suck.
Yeah, there should be a TV show about people like you.
Yeah. I think there are. All right, so we're going to do
one of those episodes on ABC. You can't say that, or you can't ask that.
You can't ask that. You can't ask me about my 12 fantasy teams. All right, so what we're going to do is I've got them here, and I've got where I finished in the league, and then I've also done an average. So my 12 teams where I've averaged myself. I'm going to give you the name, and I also want your opinion and your thoughts on the name.
Okay.
Because I pride myself on some of these names.
All right, let's do it.
First up, we have Jeffy McJeffface.
After who? Quentin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Quentin Jefferson. Known fantasy force on the DL.
Yeah. Ninth.
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
7th.
Okay.
Lambo number 5. 2nd.
Not bad. These kicker related?
No, Lambo's your boy, CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, I thought it was old Josh Lambo.
And Jamar Chase, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, no, I knew that.
They're not funny when I have to explain them.
Are you sure?
Okay, Toe Burrow.
Yeah,
Finished 2nd.
Oh.
Baby Back Gibbs.
Okay.
Finished 3rd.
Right.
I want my baby back Gibbs. Josh Darnold. Finished 3rd. Getting a Jigba with it.
Okay.
That's 3rd. You're getting jiggy with it. No.
Producer Cam is phenomenal right now.
Okay. Dak Street Boys.
Okay.
1st.
There it is. Dak getting his flowers.
And you know what's the worst about this? And I'll spoilers, there's some more teams. It's the only one I won. It's the only comp I won. And I had all these Dallas players. I had Dak. I had CD.
This is where you took CD really early.
Really early. I had Pickens in it as well. And I had Aldridge, kicker.
Can I ask why you picked Dak?
Why? Because you told me to pick him. And to be fair, I got him last round or second last round.
I've only taken some of my own advice there. I was also really big on George Pickens, and I own him in precisely this many leagues.
0 leagues, yeah. I got Pickens and him because of you. They fell, and I went, well, Laurie's a Cowboys fan. I'll take him. So beautiful. 1, that's my only win. Next up, I've told you this team before. Pin the tail on the McConkey.
Yep.
Finished 2nd.
Yep.
Je ne sais quoi. Finished 7th. Saving Private Brian. I finished 2nd. And Weekend at Hertzies. I finished 7th.
Sorry, Saving Private Brian
Thomas Jr.
Okay, I was like, which way is this going?
It was my first round pick in that league.
Yeah,
big regression.
Yeah,
big regression.
There's a lot to take. I guess the question I've got this. I think maybe we should throw this out poll to hear from folks. What's less impressive? Going 1 for 12 in fantasy and winning one championship but being in 12 fantasy leagues, or going 0 for 3 and making the playoffs in one? You tell us what's more impressive, or fair. Actually, what's least impressive. Because we're at very different ends of how we're approaching fantasy right now. You've got silverware.
And so on average, so adding them all up, I average 4th.
Which I believe is where I finished in my best league.
Hey!
I think
what we're... is confetti.
I'm just checking in on our producer Cam, and I think our producer Hatsie's going to need... You had a lot of... There's some dialects mixed in there, particularly French. He wants a Greek one. So we need something Greek themed
for next year. I'll find you a because I'm going to double it.
I don't
12,
know. If
we're going to do 24 leagues.
Greeks actually invented fantasy sports.
I did not know
that.
that.
The first Olympics. Huh. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's a fun fact.
PPM, point per medal. Yeah, was less woke back then. All right.
Good gear.
Right. Oh, what a great way to start. Okay, the next one. Are you ready to rumble, Jimmy? Are you ready to? Because this one is from friend of the show, Dan Muggleton, who I believe is like 300 meters from here right now in the stands of the SCG.
Watching the cricket. He sent this from the toilets.
He did. Yeah. Members?
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, here we go. This one from Dan. Here we go.
All right, lads, you might not be aware of this, but the New York Jets have actually set an NFL record this season. They've gone the whole season with 0 interceptions. Not a single interception, not even by accident, not even while playing Mitch Trubisky in the final game of the season do they get an interception. That is insane, especially when this year they brought in a defensive coach who used to be a cornerback. This is what Aaron Glenn is for, teaching them how to get interceptions. That'd be like having Tua Tagovailoa coaching a team and nobody on that team gets a concussion. That'd be like Tyreek Hill coaching a team and nobody on that team fathers a child. That'd be like... Now, to be honest, I think those examples are pretty clear cut. Anyway, have fun with that.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. And I'm sure managing editor of ESPN Australia, Stu Rand will be happy that as a Dolphins fan because those felt a little bit targeted. Yes, the Jets.
Do you know that record about
no interceptions?
Deceptions.
Yeah,
that's been around longer than the invention of jet planes. How Jets is that for you?
And this was their common sense off season. They actually had an off season this
year.
You
and I actually think at the start of the season
we weren't.
I wasn't big on to make the playoffs. No. I just thought they'd be scrappy.
Yeah, you're like, hey, you guys have made you extended.
They got Justin Fields.
Players.
Run the ball. Let's not overcomplicate it.
Keep things simple. You put some money in some decent areas, and it has just been a new low. And you think if there's anything that the Jets have been able to point to and say, well, this was at least our identity for a little bit of success. There were some good defensive teams over the past decade and a half. The Rex Ryan defenses, the teams that made it to the AFC Championship games. But this is and this is why I said, one of the big backlashes I got from Myles Garrett for MVP post was people telling me that Drake May, how can you say that when Drake May just dropped 5 touchdown passes on the Jets?
And I said, you replied, because it's the Jets.
Yeah, I said, I'm like, it's the Jets, guys. Like, yeah, but still, I'm like, okay, but still, well, Trevor Lawrence did 6 total touchdowns against them 2 weeks earlier. And Mitch Trubisky just did 4 today. So I can't stress this enough, guys. I love Drake May. I loved him at UNC. I think he should be an all-pro quarterback. I think for me, it's MVP. It's all-pro first-team quarterback Stafford, and then I'll take Drake May as the all-pro second team. I think it's a nice way to do it.
Yep.
But the idea that putting up massive numbers and against the Jets with some sort of stamp your claim for the MVP. I mean, what are we doing here? Could we make the result any more reductive? Could we make the discussion about MVP any more basic and thoughtless than put up nice numbers against a team that should probably be playing flag park football instead of in the NFL stage?
Can also just quickly give a shout out to Sauce Gardner.
Who
left the Jets when they were 1-7, went to the Colts, and the Colts finished in his time with them 1-7.
Yes.
So the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yes. The grass is always grass on the other side.
The sauce is always ass on the other side.
Oh, it's been a tough year for Sauce Gardner. Now we have 2 more submissions that I believe are at your fingertips, Jimmy, because this is the hot mic. And what better way to celebrate the end of the regular season than some literal hot mics entering the fray for our Week 18 episode.
These are actual hot mics.
These are hot mics.
Your boy, Dak Prescott, didn't know the mics were rolling as he sat down for his final press conference of the year. Where is it?
Technology's tough.
Hey.
So, just to sum up, the Cowboys had lost.
And action.
Oh, it's a good sound clip for the season.
Hey, at least he's laughing.
Couldn't put it better
happy.
myself down. He's self-aware.
He's laughing, yeah.
What is he? I mean, his numbers are ridiculous. You know, he led the league in completions, passing touchdowns, yardage, yada, yada, yada.
It's not the first time you guys have done that and then
just
to bed.
I mean, and a defense that, you know, couldn't hold water. I mean, just more problematic a defense I'm not sure I've ever seen on the Cowboys. And I've sat through the Mike Nolan regimes, the Rob Ryan regimes.
Yeah.
I've seen some truly shocking outfits there. It was horrendous for the Cowboys in 2025 on that side of the ball. It closed the same way. Dak was fantastic throughout the season. He had some throws he'd like back, but he has to go into the season going, well, I came in healthy, played some of my best football in years. Hopefully I have Dak and I'll have CD and George Pickens back.
Do you think he resigns?
I think that at the very least he gets tagged. I'd say as of today he stays, but
notorious players love being tagged.
Yes. What could potentially change is like what's saying that Jerry doesn't drag this out again.
Yep.
And the Cowboys don't drag this out again, and it turns sour again, and there's a parting of the ways again. Have we seen that recently with any?
Yeah, I've seen that film.
Yeah. I think it's on syndication somewhere in my nightmares. And following up that hot mic entry.
This one's great. This is mid-game.
Yeah.
This is Trey McBride,
Yep.
Who I think finished tight end 1 in fantasy this year.
I mean, he was...
Even though I took Brock Bowers in most of
Yep.
them. And Brock, what are you doing, Brock? All right, this is great.
Will set fires and wide open. Wow. It's McBride. Oh, mother... Up here!
Boom. MF.
Yep.
I'm him.
Yep.
And that has not been boosted. That went live on the coverage on the broadcast. He just happened to run right next to a microphone.
A hot mic. And the Cardinals will go on to lose 37-20.
And it turned out he was not him.
And whilst he was fantastic, they also finished 3-14 on the year and will be picking high in the draft once more. Oh, a lovely varied version of Hot Mic today. We really went all over the place.
Yeah.
Fantasy, the depths of reality with the Jets, and then the sounds from the sideline and the podium from some of the biggest stars in the NFL.
No, we didn't hear from Matty from Melbourne this week.
No.
It is still holidays for a lot of people.
It is.
I'm hopeful. His Bears are playing the Pickers next week, so I'm hopeful we'll hear something.
And
unless they lose, and we'll hear nothing.
I can say in honor of that, a definite clip that we're going to be rolling out with the Bears celebrating that they're back in the playoffs and that they're there is his request for us to power rank Bears. Blind rank Bears. Yes, our favorite Bears.
It's a good one.
So that'll be coming out this week. So keep eyes on that. And that has been the Maccas Hot Mic. Jimmy, time-wise.
We got 10 minutes.
Yeah, we try
to keep this an hour, guys.
We did.
We know you got things.
Thankfully, quick hits is quick this week. And I'm going to go right through this. Okay, starting with the NFC South, the Saints and the Falcons. Almost got a Tyler Shuck performance. Another one of the ages, a comeback there. This was with him throwing to Dante Pettis as his wide receiver 1. He had Juwan Johnson out there looking like prime Jimmy Graham. But ultimately, the Falcons do enough to hold on for a victory here. They fire their head coach and they fire their general manager. So it's Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot out of there. And I think ultimately Arthur Blank can't go past the simple question of this was a cupcake division. How didn't we eat?
Yeah.
This was a waste.
I think they easily could have won that division. Well, obviously.
Would have liked to see some more consistent on the field health from someone like Drake London, but he's clearly like another. He can take his game with health and consistency to another level in 2026. Kyle Pitts finally Kyle Pitted in the way that we can be proud of. Bijan Robinson
can't wait to see him
phenomenal.
On the Jets.
They added pass rush, like the defense, like so many things that should have led to better. And
you only had to win one more game. There's 3 teams on 8-9.
That's the thing. They ended up with the
anyone could have had that.
And some of the games that they threw, I had Falcons fans in my mentions this morning letting me know.
The Saints weren't that far behind, 6-11.
Yeah. Thank you for that rhymes with something else. That's where my brain is at right now. And for the Saints, they get to power. By the way, guys, lunch over the holidays with my son Charlie and Jimmy, and the amount of that phrase that was uttered. They even had the waiters and the baristas at the cafe doing it as well.
6-7. It was a good time.
Yep.
And Laurie's son whispering in his ear, "Go Birds."
That was just.
I've never been prouder.
No,
of my child.
No,
our child.
Oh, God. He did not do that anything other than go, "I'm teasing, I'm tricking Jimmy." Yeah. Anyway, that is the Saints Falcons NFC South update. The Cardinals and the Rams, we touched on it before. Look, I don't know why the Rams played around with things for so long. This thing stayed close until it wasn't. Stafford got going at the end. They pushed the ball a little, got into the end zone a couple of times, and made this thing look a little more palatable on paper. But it was very weak 18-y. You had to double check and go, wait, did the Rams rest their starters? I thought they were fighting for some seeding. Just one to watch. Another fantastic game from Michael Wilson. Takes ridiculous catches. Had another one downfield that could have been even bigger, and it was called back on a flag on the offense. He's on the books for $1.7 million in 2026. That might be the best value in the NFL, not at the quarterback position. Oh, there you go, value in the quarterback being brought up in the same sentence again. I cannot wait to see the Cardinals ideally extend him. They should start it tomorrow, and I would say
do their throwback jerseys.
Yeah, and do their throwback jerseys. And I would say whoever is quarterback one for the Cardinals in 2026 will be hoping they extend Michael Wilson with his Kiwi ties, his New Zealand ties, long term. But that's my takeaways there. And look, Cowboys Giants, we mentioned it. The Giants win, but really they lose, and the Cowboys lose, and they also just kind of lose. They have the 12th pick in the draft. They've done some decent things with the 12th pick in the past. They have a lot of things that they have to back up and actually do and complete to build any sort of faith going into the offseason. I'll just say this for Cowboys fans out there. Jerry Jones and them.
Australia's team.
The Australia's team. The most followed team in Australia. Cowboys fans, what I will say is Jerry Jones talked about, we may have to do something dramatic in the offseason. Really have to look at how defense is going. Don't believe anything until it actually plays out. We've seen all in before. I think Stephen Jones used the phrase all in again on the radio the other day. I think it was on 105.3 The Fan. Do not believe any of this until rubber meets the road. I will let you know. You can if you're a Cowboys fan who is tired and exhausted, hop in my DMs and say, Loz, I'm tuning out. Can you just hit me up?
Cowboys fan
if they actually exactly
call Laurie now. 1-800-LOZ.
If you are tired and you are done with it and you don't believe it, just take the summer off. Take up pottery. I'll always say take up golf. Learn how to cook better. Learn how to slow. Pick any one of the main habits.
We're trying to go fast, and you get this got real sad.
But you just take the summer to yourselves. If something material happens where they're actually changing direction and putting money where the mouth is, I'll let you know. I'll send you a DM. If you need that, feel free to let me know in my DMs, and I will be of that service to you. And hopefully you can get some nice rest and breather over the off season.
And look, if you don't have a fan and maybe you're new to NFL, don't be part of that. Go be a fan of the Birds. Go Birds.
Okay, Jimmy, Colts and Texans played football.
Colts and Texans, Colts 30, Texans 38. I think you and I love the big guy touchdown.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
We love that. Tommy, is it Togiai?
Tommy Tongawai, I think.
Tongawai?
Yeah.
Togiai?
Yeah, we're doing well there.
Scooped up fun with the final play. Loved it. Returned for 17 yards, touchdown. We love that. Put a little bit of mayo on the lead there. We saw Riley.
Yeah, promising.
Promising
from Riley.
He had 270 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, at a quarterback rating of 90. The first 2 quarterbacks to do that on their debut for the Colts were Manning and Luck. So,
and just a little whisper that's coming out of that one is that apparently so impressive has Phil Rivers' return been.
More people looking at Phil Rivers?
Not necessarily at quarterback.
Coaching.
Head coach.
Head coach.
Yes. And that'll be a buzzy name to watch. And just how he came in, how he energizes a room, the gravitas he has, the sincerity, how genuine he is, his mastery of the game, and clearly his schematic prowess is undeniable. So impressive has it been that would not be surprised if we see him linked to head coaching jobs. Steichen and Chris Ballard will be staying.
Because I was like, Stike, come back.
No, Stike Daddy survived.
Stike, come back. Come back, the Eagles. Panthers 14, Bucks 16. We know now. Bucks out of the playoff. Panthers, we just sort of talked about it. Falcons, it was a terrible division. 8-9. Anyone could have won that.
Mm-hmm.
Lions 19, Bears 16. Dan Campbell is like, beat you, Ben Johnson, but Ben Johnson is heading to the playoffs.
Yep, in the 2 seed.
Yeah, so
and they fought back in this one. This is a Colson Loveland game.
Yep.
They battled back and put it tied, but ultimately Lions doing enough down the stretch, get in position, kick the winner, walk off. It feels empty.
Yeah.
And more changes coming. And Lions team, love the jerseys. Not saying they need to go throwback. For them, it starts up front. Fix that line before anything else.
Oh, I think personally, the team I'm disappointed with the most this season is the Detroit Lions.
This is why.
I think the talent they have and the potential they had, and as someone in the NFC, I was scared of them in the preseason. I don't know how you ended up at 9-8. I actually don't.
Offensive line is everything.
Yeah.
You can have all the shiny toys
talked
you
about
want.
the Chargers as well.
Yep.
I mean,
have all the shiny toys you want. You have the quarterback you want. If that line is regressing badly, so will you.
Bunch of other games. We're going to hit the snooze button on them.
Yes.
Maybe next week we'll talk about your team and some New Year's resolutions for some losing teams, and we'll obviously have some thoughts about the playoff games. But it's time for We Got History before we get to Jimmy's Blitz.
It is 4-6. So I haven't lost ground over the New Year's break, but I haven't gained ground. Ultimately, JSN came up a little short for you.
Yeah.
And Higgins was productive, but it was a chase day a week ago. All right. For me, as I try and peg this thing back, rookie tight end, just mentioned him, Colson Loveland. Been very, very consistent, very, very productive on the back end of this season. He's had 3 receptions in all of his last 12 games. That's a number I'm not worrying about. 4 grabs in 7 of his last 10. He's up against the Packers. I think there's 2 teams going in different directions. Give me Colson Loveland, who is out there looking like a future All-Pro, Pro Bowler. I mean, Tyler Warren was the story of the rookie tight ends at the start of the season. It's been Colson Loveland late. It'll be Colson Loveland again. I think he gets 4 grabs or more up against those Packers week 1 of the playoffs. Wildcard week, it's here.
Laurie, they always tell you something. You know what they tell you?
What?
They say pick with your head, not your heart.
Oh,
not this week.
No.
I'm picking with my heart.
Sure.
And I'm picking Jalen Hurts, baby.
Yep.
All right. We are playing this weekend. We're at the Link.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hosting the 49ers.
Yes.
And I'm going to be picking my boy Jalen, who has thrown on average 2 passing touchdowns a game this season at home, to do that again versus the 49ers.
Okay.
My brain tells me no.
Okay.
I haven't seen a great anything in our offense this year, especially passing. But
I will say if A.J. Brown does to some of the San Francisco 49ers defensive backs what JSN did to one in particular, I think it might have been Lenore.
Yeah,
when he absolutely bodied
him.
A.J. Brown does that a couple of times.
And A.J. Brown he's a big wide receiver.
That might be your 2 touchdowns.
And
right
Lane
there.
Johnson looks like he's back as well, which is
look, this is the opportunity you guys had.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to rest some blokes.
Yeah.
And get healthy, and the pedigree is undeniable with what you guys can do. It's starting to smell a little Philly-ish.
Hey, it's smelling good. Philly cheese, baby!
Okay. Jimmy's Blitz. Let's
Jimmy's
get
Blitz.
it. Are
All
we
right,
inside an hour? A chance?
Yeah, 58-49.
Go!
Where is it? I've lost it. All right, here we go. This season, just mentioned him, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I did.
Led the league with 1,793 yards,
That's
just pipping Puka Nacua.
Easy, Troy Aikman.
I'm trying to go too quick. Yeah, what did he say on the coverage?
Hey, he's a great member of
1,715 yards. But 10 years ago, let's wind the clock back, Laurie.
Yes.
2015, who led the league with 1,871 yards? Was it A, Julio Jones?
Yeah.
Roll Tide. Was it B, Antonio Brown? Or C, DeAndre Hopkins?
1,800 and
71.
It's a big number. Give me Antonio Brown.
It was Julio Jones.
Okay, 0-1.
All right, next up, we just mentioned it before, Drake May is the favourite for the MVP. I think you and I are the same. We still think Stafford is a little bit ahead of him.
I think he's
miles ahead. Some people, I mean, a lot of gambling sites are saying Drake May is the favourite for MVP. But let's talk about Drake, the rapper Drake.
Oh, God.
Who has more Instagram followers,
Ooh.
Drake or Kendrick Lamar?
It feels like it'll be Drake.
It's easily Drake. Drake has 142 million. Kendrick has 19.2.
Yeah.
But who's the better rapper? Drake
is not.
Okay.
Kendrick.
Geez, you had me there in the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Listen, I think we both sat in that Super Bowl and heard a certain song being uttered by a full stadium.
Hey, Drake. Question number 3. Who had more fantasy points this season between 3 quarterbacks?
Okay.
Mentioned him again before. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert.
He's good and then middle.
Or Patrick Mahomes. Again, Patty only played 14 games compared to the 16.
I don't think it's Mahomes.
It's not Mahomes.
Okay, I'm gonna just follow the breadcrumbs here. I'm gonna say you asked this so I could say Jalen Hurts.
It's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
correct.
I'm stunned.
Yeah, well done.
Am I 2 for 3 now?
Yeah, you are. All right, blind rank.
Yep.
We just came off a little break. Thank you for being patient with us. It's excited to be back. We've had a great day today. Blind rank these holidays, Laurie.
Okay.
All right, first up, we're going to do it. One of the ones we just had, Christmas Day.
Sure.
Where does Christmas Day sit for you in the top 5?
It's not that high. Like it's great. I love it for Charlie, but I'll put it at 4.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Christmas Day.
A lot of family energy that can go all sorts of different.
The one that follows it, I'm going to say it's probably my favorite.
Yeah,
Boxing Day.
I'm trying to think of a day that tops it. Boxing Day is going to go in the one slot.
Oh, Boxing Day is great.
It's phenomenal.
We've got football now. We have NBA. We have cricket. You can sit in front of the television and never leave.
Yeah.
Boxing Day is number one. Leftovers,
all
the cold
food,
ham,
none of the cooking.
I know, none of the cooking. And you don't use plates. You just go in the fridge, cut a bit of ham off, grab everything with your hands. It's beautiful. Grab a prawn out of there as well. New Year's Eve.
Sure.
New Year's Eve.
What did I put Christmas at?
You put Christmas at 4.
Cool. New Year's can go 5. Yeah. New Year's in Sydney, probably had a couple of half decent ones, but
you know what? And chaos. I bet the half decent ones are the ones you didn't plan, and you're at someone's house doing something. Yeah. New Year's Eve, it's overrated.
It's terrible.
It's just terrible. We put all this pressure on. It's going to be great, and you pay all this money. Everything's overpriced. Yeah. Bin it. Get out of here. Yeah. Well done,
New
mate.
Year's, wildly overrated.
One of my personal favorites, Anzac Day.
Really good day.
Getting out early, see the service, then go down, play 2 up somewhere in a pub.
So I've done 1, 4, and 5.
Yeah, you've got 2 and 3 left.
I'm going to put Anzac Day a solid. It's probably more up and about when I was younger.
Yeah.
I'll put it at 3.
Put it 3?
I think if you would have asked me at 18, 19, it would have been top 2.
Top 2. Yep. Okay. All right. Number 2. Is there anything before I say? Is there anything that you want to be there?
I'm just worried about where you're going with this.
Yeah, I don't worry. I didn't put it there.
Okay.
Easter.
Okay. Yeah. Easter at 2.
You got Easter at 2. Boxing Day number 1, Easter 2, Anzac Day 3.
Yeah.
Christmas Day 4, New Year's Eve.
I'm happy with that. I would flip 2 and 3 had I had it back again. Easter does have a lot of good chockey.
Yeah, and you get
a lot of days off.
A lot of days off. That's
4 days off in a row.
You get a big long weekend. You can travel. You can do something.
Probably get some golf done.
Yeah, get away.
Yeah, so I'm solid about that.
I'm gonna give you a point. Well,
okay, all right.
I'm okay with it. I would have flipped 2 and 3, but you're okay with it. All right. Just the general knowledge question. Question number 5: If someone spills the tea,
yes,
what are they doing in modern slang?
They spill the tea. They're sharing the gossip.
They are sharing the gossip,
and as a dirty gossip, I would know.
Loz loves spilling the tea here in the office.
Still more tea than Twinings. And that's how we're going to get out of here. Producer Hatsy is laughing hilariously. Hopefully the rest of you are as well. Look, guys, we made it through the regular season. The first regular season of NFL Afters. Again, brought to you by our friends at PointsBet. A thank you for the regular season for our friends at Maccas and friends at Statmate. Cores were on board there. Yep. We had some fun there over the freezing cold takes and the trade window. But we got more to come because we're hitting the playoffs. We're hitting them hard. Our friends are along for the party. We hope you guys are as well. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think for a regular season that it was hard to get a gauge on who was what and where and how they were going to be seated. We got some awesome quarterback matchups in week 1. We've got some fantastic storylines. I talked about the Panthers-Rams game staying up, but there's revenge on the mind for the Rams. Remember revenge. I don't think those 49ers, tough road trip to go visit your team and that defense and deal with the talent there, but they don't forget what happened in that NFC Championship game when they were forced to play quarterback.
I'm excited for it.
It's a beauty of a slate. It's Wildcard week and divisional week are two of the best, if not the best weekends of football in the season. Do yourself a favor. Tell a friend. Get a friend to watch down. Share the game. Share the game that we love. Share NFL Afters. But for myself and the illustrious Jimmy, this has been the Week 18 edition. We will see you for playoff football and playoff NFL Afters in a week from now. Lots of love. As always, same time, same channel, same football craziness. We will see you for Wildcard week. Dallas sucks. Go Birds. This week, they both kind of sucked. Yeah, well, I mean. Football! Football! Woo!